Thanks for joining us on Talking Points. We are receiving a legal mind. We are receiving Barrister Nkamwa Limen. He is a member of the Cameroon Bar Association and head of the Nkamwa Limen law firm in Douala. Barrister, thanks for accepting our invitation.
It's a pleasure.
Must say it wasn't easy having you. We struggle hard, but we work according to the tastes of viewers and listeners. And of course, on critical issues, we just know who to find, because at least they too have reactions after our news. They know who to explain what to them and explain in the way they will understand.
It's a pleasure.
Despite their tight schedule, you accepted to be with us.
It's a pleasure, and I won't disappoint them in my observations and pronouncements.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning with him to talk about the TOSO for the Kumba City Council. It's been going on and on and on and on. The most recent developments in the TOSO for the Kumba City Council is the decision of the Administrative Court of Buea. Does it solve the problem?
Well, I just want you to know that it is a very serious issue. It's actually an academic exercise, and I had the privilege and honor to have discussions with my colleagues like Justice Metege Divine in our forum, Dynamic Legal Minds, and we brainstorm on issues. And so the pronouncements I'll be making here is ideas put together, which I greet everybody in that forum. That said, the decision of the Administrative Court is that it declined its competence over the issue, but however, recognize the fact that the current city mayor is an ex-convict, which infringes or which is against the provisions of Section 47 of the Electoral Code, which is to the effect that anybody with a criminal record is disqualified to be a candidate. And you see, as I said, that it's an academic exercise, because at one point we have divided school. We have a school that believes that that since the decision, the judgment was appealed and is still pending in the Court of Appeal, and that to them it suspends the execution of the judgment, and so it goes without saying that it is not enforceable and should not create a problem. Whereas another school of thought, which I belong to, yes, I buy, insists that since there's a condemnation of a sentence of 900 to pay 100,000 francs or serve 9 months imprisonment terms, that he has been convicted, and that is the only judgment that we have. No judgment has come to annul that judgment. And you see, the period 9 months is above the 6 months which is stated in the Electoral Code, because it provides that for any sentence above 6 months, the candidate is not eligible. So with that, I think honestly, I opine that there might be a very serious problem in front.
But the candidate, we are talking about the current city mayor, who was already installed as the pioneer city mayor for Kumba, went directly to the Supreme Court.
Yes, but he didn't go to the Supreme Court on this matter. Okay. The Supreme Court had I think they had a matter of fraud or something like that with elections. All right. Whether his elections was not properly conducted. That was the first thing that took them to the Supreme Court. This matter has not been heard.
All right. So now you ended your first development by saying that you think it's going to be complicated. How complicated would it be? What makes it very complex and difficult?
It might lead to the replacement again of the mayor, of the city mayor, because if we apply the law, if the law is applied stricto sensu, it means that he was not eligible. But as I said, there's a school of thought that believes that judgment is not a final judgment, and so could not be executed. And as I repeat, I find favor in the opinion of the second group, which feels that he was convicted, and so he should the law should be applied.
But Barrister, I know it's some sort of mixing politics here and the law, but are these not things that would have been raised when he went in to be a municipal councillor in Kumba before finding his way to stand as candidate, consequently being elected, and now...
You see, Mr. For me, I don't talk politics. I talk the law.
Yeah.
I've given the provisions of the law and what it states. Now, coming to maybe you think that it has been stopped by the fact that it was not stopped. There's the principle of estoppel, which some people equally hold that since nothing was done to prevent him from ascending to the throne, to the office, and that nothing should be done. I still don't find credit in that.
Now, if it's true, and of course, well, the law has already established it, that he is an ex-convict, and of course should step.
No, the law has not asked him. That court has not asked him to step down. No, they simply took notice of the fact that yes, that he's an ex-convict. And so the decline is responsibility. So that judgment, the judgment cannot be executed.
But legally, what should the
right court? They should seize the right court, which is the civil court, the civil ordinary court.
Which team? The Victor Kelengo led team or the Greek Mewano led team?
But Ngele is Victor Kelengo who sees the court.
Should seize the court.
Yeah, should seize the appropriate court
and ensure the execution of the.
No, for the court to hear the matter in its merit. The court has to hear the matter in the merit. The matter has not been heard in its merit.
You bear with me. That's really difficult, and of course, the population, the people of Kumba, Cameroonians need to really understand this.
Yes. What I'm saying.
What we brought you here.
Yes. What I'm saying is that Mr. Kele brought an action that the court should render a judgment disqualifying the candidature or removing the present Ismewano, right? To remove him from the head of the council because he has a criminal record which is against the provisions of the aforecited section 47 of the electoral code. So that is the issue. And as I said, there are two schools. The one school believe that he has indeed the judgment has been appealed, and so he has a suspensive it suspends execution, whereas others think that he has been convicted, and so they should go by the law. So what we are saying in essence is that the court that was seized declined its competence and said they should seize the right court. And
you go for the second school of thought.
If I look at the law and the facts,
by implication, he shouldn't be exercising his duty as the mayor.
Nobody can tell him that until the court passes a judgment. Nobody can tell him that he is still the city mayor.
And until a court goes to that level of
yes, until a court gives a ruling, which that ruling could still be appealed, and until such a final ruling is obtained, that they can destitute him.
And now that this was already been established by the court in Kumba, now the option is the Victor Kelengo team should take the next step, as you explained, getting to the next court, which I don't master best. Is it not also the right of the people of Kumba now to say, okay, you even if Victor Kelengo decides to say, okay, I've negotiated, I've discussed with him, for him, he will still be there. Is it not the right of the people of Kumba to take actions?
Well,
can't they do that?
To take actions on doing what?
Like taking the legal step that Victor Kelengo should take in case he decides not to.
Well, the one thing you should know is that if Mirano is not there, it's not automatic that is Victor Ngo who is there. No, it's not automatic. The people will go back to fresh elections and they might still vote somebody else. There's no guarantee that he's the one who is going to. He's the one who brought an action because he feels that his rights were infringed. But it does not mean that the people who still vote must vote him. No, that's not the purpose. That's not the essence of the court matter. It's not the essence.
All right, Barrister, we proceed. We're still in Kumba. We learned that the proprietor of Mother Francisca International Bilingual Academy, where unfortunately some students were assassinated, and the wife have been transferred to a prison. Barrister, you've surely learnt about it and the procedure that is being on course. Is there some infringement? Is there legally some things that are not being correctly done? I say so because before now, since the incident occurred, we learned that they have been in detention and just recently been transferred from Kumba to Buea also.
Okay, you cannot make pronouncements over issues that you don't have sufficient facts. So I think investigations were going on, and in my opinion, maybe they got enough evidence. Or they got enough, yes, as I said, evidence to support the fact that maybe they were
in one way or
the other implicated in what happened. But still, if I think broadly, I will still think that I don't understand how the victim, because they look more like the victim to me. They look more like the victim because the act was perpetrated in their school. And so, how do they become terrorists? How do they, but as I said, I cannot make any pronouncements without knowing the facts and without reading the statements made by party and the proof standard.
And considering that it's coming also at a time when an individual was intercepted in Kumba, described by the SGO for the Kumba, the Meme division as a Nambazonian general, call it a separatist commander who took part in the Kumba school massacre. Somebody's been identified already. We also heard from administrators that another person was killed who...
You know, I really exercise some reservation as to what I saw, that the DO, the senior division officer, was asking some questions and affirming the man, and is alleged and saying as if it was facts that he's the one, is part of the people who committed the offense. Please, we should allow justice to do its work. If they think he's still a suspect, at this level he's still a suspect, and so it's not correct to me that the senior division officer should give the public the impression that they've apprehended one of those people. The court should do its work. He has done his work to arrest people who create problems for others in Kumba, but he shouldn't go this far to
now that's not been, is not actually the first of such incidents in Cameroon or such events. We have on several occasions when people are intercepted, they are yet to be taken to court, but they are presented to the public. Biden Douala, in Yaoundé, in other towns and cities in Cameroon, some are timed by the police, some by the gendarmerie officers. Legally, or considering the human rights laws in place, are there some infringement? Is there something wrong with that?
Yes. If you consider that these people are still suspects and there's a presumption of innocence, it is not proper to do that. I know that they're doing that to maybe dissuade others from committing offenses or to assure the population that something is being done. But honestly speaking, it infringes on the rights, because not everybody who's been branded on the television as a criminal will be condemned at the long run, because there are some people who will be declared not guilty. Lawyers will do their work, and if they are not criminals, they'll be declared not guilty. What happens now to the image? What happens now to what has been sent to the public? It is not correct.
And what should be done in such cases where they also have as responsibility to dissuade others and also to get the people abreast with their activities?
I think they should instead bring out those people who've been condemned for those offenses than bringing people who are suspected. When the court decision comes out, okay, they can do a documentary to show that this person was apprehended. As you see in most of the foreign channels, they go into digging crimes, how it was committed, and the final verdict. I think that can dissuade. Right. So wait until when the judgment is being pronounced and you make it public.
Thanks very much, Barrister. It was an interesting chat with you, Barrister Nkamwa Limen. You are a member of the Cameroon Bar Association and head of the Nkamwa Limen law firm in Douala.
Yes, and it's always a pleasure. Each time I have time.
We can't thank you enough, Barrister. It wasn't easy having you, I must say.
The pleasure is mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for your kind attention. That was all we had time for as far as the primetime news is concerned on Equinox Television. Have a nice day in the company of programs on your #1 television channel across Cameroon.